Hello everyone, Dr. Kevin Zadai with you. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Make sure that you like and you subscribe to my channel because we got new things coming out all the time. This is an exciting time we live in. You're going to enjoy all the videos because God is moving by His Spirit. I'm going to be teaching you how to walk in the Spirit. I'm going to talk to you about angels. We're going to have lots of conferences that are going to come to you. So make sure that you always are ready for what God's going to do for you. Half of you got it. Now listen to me. It doesn't matter if you don't like me. What matters is, do you hear what I'm saying? Because there is a controversy going on in the body of Christ, and it has to do with hybridization. It's these unbelieving believers that are getting into the ranks. It's a hybrid race of it's called unbelieving believers. You claim to be a believer, but you're unbelieving. And it shows in your prayer life. It shows in the way that you live. When have you had enough to where you open a can and start swinging? When is the last time the devil is going to even speak to you without asking for permission? You know, you didn't approach the king unless he extended the scepter. Well, you got to train the devil that way. You see, he doesn't want to deal with you because, I'm serious, if you let him know that every time you do anything to me, you push me into the glory, and then the favor is not fair, just so you know. Favor is not fair because you get pushed into the glory. I run to God when I get attacked. I don't blame God. I don't ask God why this happened. I know why it happens. I'm in a fallen world, and I'm not from this world. I'm visiting here, and they don't want me here. So I'm intruding everywhere I go because they think this is theirs, but they are out and I'm in. I'm a son of the living God. You are a daughter and a son of the living God. Everywhere you go, you enforce the blessing, not the curse. You're the head, not the tail. You know, poor God. You know, the old covenant's better than the new, and Jesus suffered and died for the new, and we got better promises in the Old Testament. You go back to the Old Testament, they believed in prosperity, but you can't even say that in church. You half the people walk out. But you know what? They'll let you buy your meal, their meal. So it's all right for me to prosper, so I can buy people's meals, or pay their car payment for the month, or whatever. Isn't it weird? Oh, I could go there. Think of the guy that works on my house. The guy that works on my house, his wife works for Jesse Duplantis. The guy who works on my house he works on our offices, everything, our TV studios. He's doing our TV studios right now. But that guy was working in my house 2 months ago, and I turned to him and I said, "Thus saith the Lord, God is going to pay off your house." You know what he did? He believed it. Do you know what happened on Sunday, just this last Sunday? Jesse's speaking, and he goes, "Is Bobby here?" He said, "Stand up. The Lord told me to pay off your house." It just happened Sunday. Okay, so it took 2 months. So at dinner, I asked Jesse, I said, "When did the Lord tell you to pay off the house? Was it right there, or when was it?" He said it was 2 months ago. Did you hear what I just said? He walked by... Jesse walked by the wife's desk, and the Lord said, "You're paying off their house." He waited 2 months, but at the same time, out of my spirit, I'm saying, "Bobby, your house is going to be paid off." Do you see how it works, or do you not? So it's more up to us to receive than it is for God to give. Did you understand it? Okay. All right. Can I go on? Boy, man, I feel the fire. See, you have to understand me. I'm a little bit off in my mind because I just lost my mind. The reason I lost my mind because God told somebody to pay off our house, so we paid that house off, and then He told us to buy another house at the lowest part of the markets. We bought a beautiful house for almost nothing, and then somebody paid that off. So you got to understand, I'm a little off up here. So now we have 2 houses at the time, and I don't need 2 houses. But see, it's not up to your theology. It's up to what God's doing. He wanted us out of debt. But not only that, listen to this. When He told us to move, we sold both of those houses. I don't want to make anybody mad. But see, I'm just a flight attendant. I'm serving Cokes and Sprites and apologizing for the weather for 30 years. I'm yelled at and letters written about me because I gave 3 ice cubes when they requested 2. I got written up one time because it was 5:30 takeoff in Detroit, and I was smiling. And the person was so mad that I was happy, they wrote in and said, will you tell him to tone it down? I'm serious. I don't even drink. I've never had a beer. I was alcohol tested all the time because they were suspecting that there's no one that could be that happy. I'm serious. I would wait, that the guy would be waiting in the jetway. I'm not a drinker. Not of that stuff anyway. Okay, so poor God, he causes me to prosper and my wife to prosper. Poor God, now I got to apologize for it. And all I'm doing is being obedient. I'm a tither, and I see the devourer rebuked for my sake. I see the heavens open, and I can't find places to put what's being poured out in my life. Malachi 3:10. But poor God, that's Old Testament, I haven't found anything in the New Testament that's better than that. When's the last time the heavens opened up and you didn't have enough storehouses to put your stuff in? Am I okay? But I don't have any darts visible side. Okay, this is what I'm trying to show you, is it's more about you receiving what God has done for you. Isn't it funny that like I've gone places where I spoke at businessmen places. And if I flew in a Gulfstream 650 and it's over $100 million, and I spoke to them, and I told them this, you'd have no problem with that. But because it's Kevin and he's a minister, I gotta drive a bicycle to Phoenix. Okay, so I can buy my own jet right now, but I can't because I'm a minister. But if I quit, just say goodbye to everything, and just sit at home, I can buy my own jet and fly around, and I'm fine. It's fine. Everybody's fine with that. So do you understand? I'm a little off up here. Okay, so we were told, Kathy was told, we were told, now sell both of those houses and move to New Orleans. I go, why? We didn't know anybody. But I said, well, this is going to be good, Kathy, because the neighbors in Seattle, their house is just like our house, and it's been on the market a year and it won't sell. Now I'm talking about receiving your answers to prayer. So we put it on the market, and it sold in 2 days. Now listen. Now don't get mad at me. It sold for $418,000 profit. They overbid because they wanted it so bad, but there's no one else bidding on it. There was no other bidder. Did you hear what I just said? Okay. So we take our $418,000, we still have one in Phoenix. So we're praying. All of a sudden, Spirit says it's time to put it on the market. Our neighbor 3 houses down has the same model. Over a year on the market, no one's bought it. 2 hours, ours sells for $260,000 profit. Okay, so this is a flight attendant. My wife is a hairdresser. So if we can do this just by being normal Christians, then what can you do? When do we just say, enough's enough? Okay, so it's more about receiving the wisdom of God. So now, all of a sudden, we have no bills. I can go a million directions from here, but I'm gonna stop. I want to be invited back. 2 Peter chapter 1. 2 Peter chapter 1 verse 3 says, everything we could ever need for life and godliness has already been deposited in us. We read that already. Okay. Finishing up here. Come on. Ephesians chapter 3 verse 20 through 21 on page 17. It says, to him who is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all that you ever ask or think, according to the power that works in us. This is 17 at the top. It says, now to him who is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all that we ask or think, according to the power that works in us. So God's able to do exceedingly above what we could ask or think according to the power that's working in us. But you didn't get that. That's why I have to say it again. God is going to do exceedingly abundantly above what we could ask or think, but it's going to be via the power that works in us. To him be the glory in the church. There is no money in heaven. There is no sickness in heaven. There's no disunity. There's no disappointments. There's no liars, cheaters. So why is it I come back from heaven? I don't want to be a minister. I don't want to be a musician, and I don't want to be a writer. And why am I chose to do it? Because I can't do it. A perfect candidate. In my weakness, strength is revealed. So the power that is working within you is how you get the abundantly above all you can ask or think. But it's revealed through weakness. So weakness is your friend. But see, you're not going to get that even in the mega churches. What I mean by that is they'll pump you up and make you feel good. But when you go to your car, that same devil is still talking to you. And see, I'm all about getting rid of the devil, which is the problem. However, Jesus said this, and if you don't get anything else this weekend, get this right here. Jesus said this. He said, the evil one is coming, but he has nothing in me. Okay, if you do that word study, you don't have to be a Greek scholar to do it. You just have to be able to read and count and use a Strong's Concordance. Jesus was saying, the evil one's coming, but he has nowhere to place his flesh hook in my flesh. So when you seal it up in your life, then the only thing left is for angels to minister to you. Because demons won't. Why? They have nothing in you. They have no place to hook you. So Paul said, listen, I glory in my weaknesses, because then the power of God is revealed. So we're taught to hide our weaknesses. We're told to push them aside and just ignore them. You know, the Word of Faith movement did that. And I was part of that. But you know what? After the 502nd time of telling God something he already knows, and it's not working, I don't need to tell God something 501 times to get my answer to my prayer. I just need to believe it once. Believe in my heart and say with my mouth once, and that mountain's going to be removed. Jesus didn't keep saying it over and over again. Do you see how we're missing it? We're not interpreting right. We're not discerning what God is saying. The Lord is telling you that this is your time and this is your season to implement the plan of God for your life. Right now is the prime time, because you're coming to this place where you realize that you've misinterpreted what God has said about you and about your life. For instance, nobody understands about the fig tree. Why was Jesus in a bad mood? And he cursed the fig tree that day. And so I asked him, and he said, that tree didn't have any fruit on it. And I said, well, yeah, it says it wasn't the season for figs. He said, you didn't eat green figs. You waited until they dried, and you picked them off. He said there were figs on that tree all year round, but it had none. And it still was confusing. He said, Kevin, when Adam and Eve ate of the tree, and their eyes were open, and they saw they were naked, he said, what did they do? I said, they grabbed the fig leaves. He said, you grab whatever's closest to you if you end up naked in the street. He said that was man's solution to the sin problem, which is religion. Jesus said, my solution is blood. My solution is to wipe it away, not cover it. He said, I cursed that tree because it represented religion. It was man's way of fixing a problem. That's what Adam and Eve did. They sewed fig leaves together. So when he cursed that tree, it's the fact that religion that covers sin needs to be cursed. It's not God's solution. It's the same thing with everything else. If you got a system on how to do things, you need to be careful. It's just like the jet. I just left the airline, but that new jet we got, that Max 800, it's got all these it's redundant down 5 levels, so the computers are checking each other. It's got different sensors on the nose for angles of attack. Well, one of them's saying one thing, one's saying another, and then the computer's having to decide which one's right. So they're crashing because there's one that was wrong to begin with. But the computer couldn't discern what data was the right data because there was different avenues of data coming in from different places. And so you've got to be careful. You see, no, I can tell you the solution to this. The checklist that is clearly there for all those pilots that died and all those people that died, the checklist clearly says when this happens to take the autopilot off and hand fly it. And you're saying, I got it. And the computer lets you. And you don't crash. But none of them did that. Because they started to rely on the system. But the system was giving them false information. Does everybody follow it? You got to be careful that you don't get into this religious thing where you think you figured God out. And he steps out of the box and waves at you. Get it? Okay. Wow. All right, the next session we're going to be talking about walking in authority, and I've gotten to chapter 2. This is really not good. We got 8 chapters. Hey, listen, it is good. Listen to me. The thing about Jesus is if you think you got it figured out, he's purposely going to do it a different way the next time. He's going to tell you to go and wash in the Jordan, or he's going to put mud in your eyes. When you just want to see. It's like, no, Lord, I don't want to not see. I want to see. Can I have some clean water to wash with? Excuse me, Lord, you just spit in my eye? Okay, if he's Jesus, why did he have to do that? Did you ever think about that? The reason we are in the state we are in right now is because we decided that we can do better than God, and we ate from a tree that we were told not to. Because we thought God was holding back something from us. But what he was holding back from us was a boundary that we needed. Because we're not God. We can't know the difference between good and evil and choose good all the time. Only God can do that. We were made in his image. And so the Lord told me, he said, this started because man was told by Satan that I was holding something back from him. But he said they had everything. So Eve, it's like I kid about my brother-in-law, my sister's brother. This guy, he could sell you your own house and you'd feel good about it. It's amazing. This guy could sell you anything, even your own house. So what reason you believe what you believe is because it's written and because the Spirit bears witness to it. And there's a lot of freedom in this room right now. The Lord has really ministered to you. I don't like sharing all these personal stories because I never want to separate myself from you. But the thing of it is if I can provoke you to jealousy and tell you how I beat the devil at his own game. He's in debt, but I'm not. And I'm serious. You know what I do every couple months? Well, once a year at least. I pay my electric bill for the next 2 or 3 years. I just did it. I just put $4,000 down on my electric bill. It's totally ridiculous to you, but see, to me, when me and my wife got married, we would look for money in the couches and everywhere just to pay our electric bill. And I looked at her and I said, this isn't right. I said, we work so hard. We work full time, and we wanted our first house together. And I came back from heaven, and heaven's not like this. And it's like we can't even pay our electric bill. And so I remembered that. When God turned it around in our lives, it's payback now. So I call all the demons in the New Orleans area to come watch me as I click and save. And you know what I do? I'm serious, honestly. I click, and they only allow you to do $1,000 at one time. So I click it, and I go, click. Oh, I made a mistake. Oh well. Click. Oh, $3,000. Oh well. I only do that because it's a testimony. It's just between me and God. But I want to testify that God turned it around for me because I didn't put limitations on him. I didn't interpret his goodness. I just let him be good. Amen.